Hey, today I'm with my friend Orvin, and we're here to take a look at a stunning Project 1 Emonda SLR in Rage Red. So this color is actually very special. I actually haven't seen any Trek bike or any bike around that's in this color. This color is Rage Red from Trek, Project 1. Can you just walk me through how you went about choosing this color and this bike in general?
So Project 1 is essentially the name that Trek uses so that you can customize your bike. What you do is actually go to their website and you select which particular bike that you want. So what I chose was the SLR 7 because of the I wanted the 1134 cassette. But you go into the website and you actually are given a whole bunch of different options where essentially you can choose what you want to customize. So as I mentioned earlier, I had customized the headset, I customized the water cage. There is only the option with the electronic shifting, so you can't customize that. But you also have other options as well. So like the carbon saddle, I chose that. And one thing that was kind of a perk is that you also get to choose your colors, and you actually also get to put your own name or something else on the bike. I know that triathletes like to do that. I'm not a triathlete, but since the option was there, I actually have my name written here on the bike.
Cool. So Orvin, why don't you go through some of the specs that you have of the bike?
Okay. Yeah, so I got the Trek Emonda SLR 7, and I got it this year's 2019 version. Just to start off, my frame size is 50 inches. I'm a fairly short guy, so 50 inches works well for me. Starting at the front, I have essentially the wheels that come standard with this particular bike. Is the Aeolus 3, I believe, that comes. They are carbon wheels, so they actually are very, quite nice and light. There is the option to upgrade to even lighter wheels, I believe, or wheels with larger rims. So, but I preferred not to do that. The actual disc brakes here come with the Ultegra Groupset. All the Trek bikes now come with disc brakes, I believe, the higher end ones. Essentially, from what I've been told, the bikes, they've actually reduced the weight of the disc brakes such that they actually are about the same weight as a rim brake as well. So the disc brakes I find actually work very well. Certainly when it comes to wet conditions, they perform better than rim brakes. One of the reasons why I chose this bike is that I'm looking to get a very light bike. It's not going to be the fastest bike because of its design, but I'm looking for something that is good for climbing the hills here in Vancouver. Essentially a nice light bike which is very suitable for climbing. In terms of the gear set here, you'll see that it's a Ultegra Di2 electronic shifting. I was convinced to get it despite the fact that it is pretty pricey because it actually does shift a lot nicer. And compared to like mechanical shifting, I've actually found it's a very big improvement in terms of how well it shifts.
What do you think is the best part about this bike?
I think that the climbing actually has really improved for me after getting this bike. Because it is so light, I find that I don't have to push as hard with some of my climbing and being able to get some speeds. One other thing I should also note actually with the particular gear set here is that new in 2019, the Ultegra actually has come out with a 1134 cassette, which actually really helps with the climbing.
Right, is that what you have on there right now?
Yes, it's an 1134 cassette.
What about the front crankset? Do you know?
It's 5034. Yeah, so usually bikes come with a 1128 cassette. I did have on my older bike a 1132, but I do find that the 1134 actually helps a lot. It's also one of the reasons why I have stuck with the Ultegra gear set versus going to a Dura-Ace, because the Dura-Ace, they actually only have 1128.
Right, that's true. So one of the features or one of the benefits of having Ultegra is for that climbing gears. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So it does look like a really impressive bike. So how does this bike ride compared to all of your other bikes that you have tried? And then so what would be the main difference that differentiates from this bike?
Yeah, so all my bikes are Trek bikes. It's the brand that I like to go with. In terms of this bike, this is the lightest bike that I have. I'm using this for my regular training. I like to ride in long distance events. So I'm not a crit racer. I'm more of a person that likes to do things like the Whistler Gran Fondo. I'm dressed in the jersey for 2017. So it's actually good for those type of events, particularly because there is quite a lot of elevation in the Whistler Gran Fondo. So it's one of the reasons why I chose this bike. The other one thing I'd have noticed is that because it is light, in a crosswind there are some challenges because the wind will actually pick you up, and because you don't actually have as much weight, it is more likely for you to tilt while riding.
Right. Do you ever find that the wheels wobble when you're going over crosswind, or are they? Yeah,
that might have a very little bit. The rims are thicker than what you get on most bikes, or I should say wider. However, this isn't the widest rim that you can get. If you did upgrade the wheels, you actually do get even wider rims. But you're already here. I do notice a little bit more catching in the crosswind.
Right. So overall impressions, out of 10, what would you give it in terms of handling?
I'd say a 9. I usually don't give anything a 10 because I really don't know what perfection is, but I've actually been very happy with this bike generally because of the fact that it is very light. It's met all the needs that I've been looking for. I'm not going to use this to win any races, but then I'm not the type of person that's competing in.
Well, you'll definitely look super good in it, especially when it's one of a kind.
But it does help me go faster. There's no doubt about it.
Exactly, of course, I would imagine. What about in terms of stiffness? Out of 10, what would you rate it?
I think it's pretty stiff. Stiffness is not something that I'm terribly familiar with, but it's actually worked quite well for me so far. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Okay,
and then in terms of comfort, I know Emondas are built for speed and comfort. What would you give it out of 10?
Oh, I'd say it's a 10 right now. I've actually gone to have my bike fitted, so I think that's very important. It's not only important for comfort, but if you're doing a lot of training, you want to make sure that you don't injure yourself because you're actually doing something constantly, which is actually not good for your body. Yeah, so fitting is actually very important, but I'd say that it's been a very comfortable bike for me. Okay, the weight of this bike is 7.65 kilograms.
So thank you for checking out this Project 1 Emonda SLR 7 with me and Orvin. If you have any questions or any bikes that you would like to see, please leave a comment in the video and make sure to subscribe.